Welcome back. This channel is geared toward young men who find today's society confusing. Previously, I discussed that if you are a man, society does not give a damn about you. It is very different and dangerous from the society that I grew up in high school, college, and just after college. By nature, I am a teacher. There's very little to help young men navigate this new society. Old norms need to be discarded in order for them to survive and thrive. In order for them to do that, they need to think power first. This episode, a new checklist for life. I see men going through life and following the displayed checklist. They graduate high school, then they graduate college, then they get a job, then they get married, then they have children, then they raise their children. Hopefully they can send their children to college. Finally they get to retire and then live happily ever after. Now gentlemen, ask yourselves this. How many men do you know get to the end of this list? How many go through this checklist but are miserable? I've talked to many men who are or were married, and they told me it was the biggest mistake of their life. If they had to do it all over again, they would never get married. In fact, for men in today's society, marriage is no longer necessary. Marriage has become dangerous. In her book, Men on Strike, Dr. Helen Smith discussed some of these dangers. I will post a video in the description box where she discusses 6 reasons men should not get married. If you are a young man and single, you need to think long and hard before getting married. I often tell male students, go to the mall this weekend and sit down and watch. You will see several men following their women around, looking as if they would rather be someplace else. That's you in the future if you get married. What now? If you, as a man, listen to what I say and reject this checklist, then it is necessary to have an alternative. The new checklist. This new checklist only has 3 items. The 3 items must be done in the proper order. Now I cannot take credit for this list. I purchased this book on Amazon years ago. The only reason I bought it was because I purchased some other books that I wanted and did not get to the threshold to earn free shipping. If there is a choice between paying for shipping or paying for a book, the book will always win. That's how I roll. It wasn't that expensive and the title made me curious, so I bought it. The book is okay. However, one part changed my perspective on everything. He had this checklist that I'm going to show you. After I read the book, I started thinking in terms of this checklist and saw the world in a totally different light. The new checklist for men. Power, money, women. It is important to see that power comes first. Now, almost everybody believes that money comes before power, while in fact, power comes first. That is why I named this channel Think Power First. Now, even though the idea was from a book, everything else in this channel is from me thinking about power first, including this statement. People are not powerless because they are poor. People are poor because they are powerless. Let that sink in because it is very important. From now on, when you look at the world and you see poor people, see them not as poor people, but as powerless people. If you are poor, or not well off as you would like to be, then think in terms of increasing your power. In later videos, I will go into this in more detail. Next, I will show examples of power coming first before money. Most people will look at the following groups of men, sometimes women, and think that their wealth brought them power. It is actually the opposite. Their power brought them wealth. For athletes, one has to see elite athletic ability as a source of power. These athletes would not have the wealth that they have without the power of their athletic ability. The more powerful the athlete, the more money they can earn. For example, in the National Football League, a quarterback with skill is very powerful. Teams will bid for his services, and therefore he can earn a lot of money. The athletic ability, which is the power in this case, comes first. For A-list movie stars, their power comes from their ability to act and generate box office revenue. Those stars that can consistently bring in large audiences have power. They can command large multi-million-dollar salaries and dictate the terms of their employment because of the power that they have. Corporate CEOs get their position because of their talent in running a large corporation at a profit. Their power comes from being able to navigate corporate politics and excellent performance at all positions held before becoming the CEO. Continued strong performance that results in the growth of profits is a continual source of power for the corporate CEO. Boards reward such power with large pay packages. Famous celebrities' power come from people willing to spend money to see them. Such celebrities can charge large sums of money for personal appearances and endorsements. The power of being a celebrity came before the money. Many politicians enter office with modest incomes, and many leave with wealth far beyond what their salaries as public servants should suggest that they should have. This is an example of the power of office translating into large amounts of money. I would agree that the ethics of such wealth is questionable. So hopefully you are beginning to understand that power comes first. Therefore, it is necessary to think in terms of accumulating power and using it properly. Always use power to get money. Never surrender power to get money. What I mean by this is to be aware of any transactions that seeks to take your power. Many people have made this mistake. An example is some of the early Motown groups signing away future earnings without realizing it. Most men give away their power without anything in return and do not even realize that they are doing it. Hopefully it is understood that power comes before money. Next, I will go over some of the ways men surrender power without even realizing it. In the next set of videos, I'm going to go over how men have surrendered power and hopefully help future generations of men from making that mistake. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for listening.